Hey, it's Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, with another hot tutorial. It's always amazing to me because I've been trading and investing in the stock market for over 20 years, as anybody who stopped by this channel actually knows. And one of the ways in which you can do very well for yourself as a trader is getting educated. You see, a lot of people get started in the stock market because they want to just make a lot of money, but they don't have the skill set necessary to maintain themselves long term. In this video lesson, I'm going to teach you exactly what retracement is. Let's start off with stocks that even when they drop, they return, they rise, their prices go right back up pretty quickly. That is called retracement. Here is a 1 month chart of a company that's a member of the Dow Jones Industrial Average called Home Depot. Excellent earnings. I've covered this stock many times. In the last month, I want you to see how the stock has hit a bottom here of $152 per share. This stock has a history of rising over time, even when it pulls back radically. You'll notice something here that's interesting in the 1 month chart. Notice that the stock never tests this low. With everything that's going on in the market right now, it never retests this low. It came off a high of 212 all the way down. You know what's going on affecting the market right now. It was sold off. It hit 152. And notice in the last 1 month, it never retested that low. This is a form of something called technical analysis. So when I am trading and investing in stocks, I want stocks that hit a low and never retested in a short period of time, because that's one way that I can tell that the stock over time, a 5-year period like this, is a real winner. Why? Because 5 years ago, the stock was trading at $112 per share, and here it is 5 years later at 201. Did it have its share of volatility? It sure did, but every time it hit a new low, like right here, what did it do? It retraced. What am I trying to show you? The stock market is a series of patterns that replicate themselves over time. We're going to stay within the Dow Jones Industrial here. Look at a 1 month chart of Microsoft. It, of course, too, pulled back, hit a bottom of what? Look at that, 135. The question is, did the stock bounce off of its bottom, and did it retest its 1 month low? And the answer, of course, is no, it did not. It hit its lowest point and then up, 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 and away. It keeps going down, but it keeps retracing. Now, without getting too involved here, the reason that stocks retrace so beautifully as we transition into a 5-year chart is because there are institutions that make money selling the stock off and rebuying it at a cheaper price. But we're also in a market right now that you should know where algorithms trade 50 to 70% on any given day. Those are sophisticated software programs, and they're buying and selling all day, triggering these peaks and valleys. But over a 5-year period, if you just held Microsoft shares, they were $48. Well, there's strong revenue growth that's driving the share price higher over time, but yes, it does have its peaks and valleys. So when a share or stocks like Microsoft hit a low, that is what I call a buy signal. When it hits a low and it doesn't repeat that low, there's a higher probability that the upward trend here is going to stay higher. And there's a wonderful saying on Wall Street: a trend in motion tends to stay in motion. Let's take a look at another hot Dow stock. This is Apple, AAPL. Yes, it has its share of volatility. Here's another low back in March 2020. And when this stock hits a low, it is definitively going to start a retracement pattern. If you're not in on patterns that retrace and stocks that do retrace, you're losing a lot of money and a lot of opportunity, because the 5-year performance of Apple stock looks like that. Overall, it is higher. If you held on to Apple shares, or you entered when they were at $130 a share, look at where they are now. After all that volatility over time, the stock has a tendency to go higher. Every time it slams down, retracement kicks in, and the stock goes higher in a strong way. I would expect this stock to go higher than 267 within the next 6 months. Retracement in this market is one of your best tools. Use it. Now, just before I go on and show you a stock with enormous resiliency, I want to say that when I see a stock pull back and hit a low, Buying shares is not the only strategy that I like to use. I also like to buy options, long term options on the shares known as leaps. You hear me talk about that all the time. So, if you want to be an educated investor, when stocks hit a bottom, what do you want to do? You want to own shares and leaps, and you know I am king of the covered call. Now, here's one stock that's very expensive. 1 month chart, of Amazon.com. Look at the low that it hit. Now, this did retest its low, I have to say. It's very expensive, but it was at $1,676 a share. It peaked up. It retested that low ish. And then what happened? The long term trend just continued. So anytime the stock slams down, it rises, slams down, but that overall trend is in effect. And as proof, look at the 5 year chart. So Amazon, I did another video about this not too long ago. If you want to own it, it's much more expensive than your average shares, but it is highly, highly volatile. So it's like going on a roller coaster ride with a really pretty girl. Here's the moral of the story. If you really want to trade and you want to trade well, you have to trade stocks that have a history of retracing. Nobody wants to trade a stock who's worth their weight, a stock that's in a downtrend. You want a stock that's in a strong upward trend, large float, and is always able to retrace. Remember this. Now, if you are trying to make fast money, I'm just going to tell you right now, the Wealthy Investor Program is not for you, nor is my online trade school. But if you're really serious about taking your skills to the next level and getting that financial education, come see me at Trade School. Every single week, I talk about a particular stock and I answer your questions. So there's a whole library here at Trade School that can help you, again, only if you're looking to make money as a serious trader, then I'm your guy. Either way, I'm happy to have you here watching this video.